Shlump. Hello everyone, Lumpy Schlumpy here with a look at PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds on PS5. Remember this game? It seems no one does these days, but I certainly do. I got Pubg on PS4 back in 2018 when it came out, and it was absolutely awful. The graphics were terrible. It looked like a PS3 game, and kind of even a PS2 game. The aliasing in this game was the worst I've ever seen. The textures all looked like soup, and pop-in was extremely prevalent. Usually when a game has poor graphics, you can at least hope for a smooth frame rate, but that wasn't the case. The frame rate was capped at 30 and dropped into the 20s regularly. I struggle with that word. What made the game even worse was the loading times. By the time I loaded into a match, the plane had typically flown over the entire map already, and I had been kicked out of the plane. To top it all off, the controls were super clunky and very confusing. They were so confusing, the game has a list of the controls on screen at all times, because it's nearly impossible to remember them all, and you have to be constantly looking to a list of controls on screen to figure out how to do something. It was not a good experience. Oh, and it was quite hard to find a match as well. You often had to wait minutes at times. They did fix the loading times pretty quickly, but that wasn't enough to save the game, at least in my eyes. So I left Pubg on PS4 and went back to playing it on my phone, which, in this point in time, was far superior to the console versions. The graphics were better, I think, and if your phone is powerful enough, you could run it at 60 FPS. The controls were much better, loading times were quick, finding matches was easy, and you could pick the maps you wanted to play on, something you couldn't do on console at the time, likely due to lower player counts. But all that was in 2018. What's PUBG like on consoles today, specifically on PS5? Before we get into it, I just want to mention that this week has been an extremely busy one for me, so I didn't put in hours and hours into testing this game like I normally do. But I did play a few matches, and I think I've seen everything I need to see. Unfortunately, I was a stupid idiot and forgot to press the record button until the last match, so I only have one match's worth of gameplay to show you, but it'll still show you everything you need to see. So, enough delay, let's just jump the heck into it. I hope you all have your seatbelts on for this one. Pubg runs on PS5 100% in backwards compatibility mode, though it has had an update specifically for PS5 consoles, in that it allows you to choose between two performance modes to play the game in. One is 1440p at 30 FPS, and the other is 1080p at 60 FPS. From what I could tell, there are no graphical changes between the two modes. They are purely for adjusting resolution and frame rate. Pubg on console still looks just as ugly and unappealing as it ever did. In this match you're seeing right now, I am playing in the 60 FPS mode, and it does feel a lot better to play than the 30 FPS mode. And even though it's 1080p and I'm playing the game on a big 4K TV, it still looks quite sharp, likely due to the complete lack of anti-aliasing. While I did not notice any frame rate problems when playing, that doesn't mean you won't encounter any while playing, since this is a game with lots of fluctuating situations and unpredictable moments. What I'm trying to say is that I just can't test and account for everything that could happen in a match. The game is far too flexible for that. But I highly doubt anyways that you'll run into frame rate dips. It should be a locked 60 based on what I've seen and how the PS5 can handle other PS4 games in backwards compatibility mode. Even though the game is 60 FPS now, I had a severely difficult time trying to shoot people, as I'm sure you'll be able to tell in the video. The controls are still so clunky and awkward and confusing. If only this game had mouse and keyboard support, then I could actually see myself playing this game for fun outside of this review. I have Pubg installed on an external HDD here, but the loading times for the matches were still surprisingly fast, especially coming off the horrendous loading times the game launched with I mentioned earlier. They weren't Miles Morales or Sackboy's Big Adventure fast or anything, but they were absolutely reasonable and what you should expect from a PS4 match-based multiplayer game. You know, like Call of Duty and Battlefield, all that good stuff. And the game found matches after only a few seconds of looking. That's awesome. It's a far cry from the minutes you had to wait when the game launched in 2018. And that was if you were looking for third-person matches. If you were looking for first-person matches, you sometimes couldn't find one at all, even if you looked for like 20 minutes. The quicker match-finding times are due to the game now having crossplay with those stinky Xbox players. Nowadays on the PS5, however, the game showed me that I could choose between third-person and first-person matches with solos, duos, trios, and quads, but the game wouldn't select anything else besides third-person quads, which I figured is probably a bug, since the other options are there. Luckily, third-person quads is the option I wanted to test anyway, since that's the mode which will likely be the most demanding to run. Oh, and when playing this game, I set my FOV to the max limit of 103. Didn't cause any problems though. Like I said earlier, game ran perfectly. And so you're probably at the point in the footage by now where I'm spectating other people. I did that because these people were actually getting stuff done and killing people, so I figured they'd be better testers in this game than I was. To sum it all up, Pubg on PS5 is definitely a better experience than it was on the PS4 in 2018. I can see myself playing this if only I had mouse and keyboard support, since it's 60 FPS now. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about the video and if you'll be playing Pubg on PS5 or not. I'm Schlingus Pingus, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more PS5 backwards compatibility reviews. A super small percent of people who watch my videos are subscribed, so if you're watching my videos, why not subscribe? It's free, and you can unsub later if you want to. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.